Jiwoo stumbled backward like he'd struck her across the face. Her hands trembled as she clutched the silk sheets to her chest, feeling the ache between her thighs, a reminder of what they'd just done. "What do you mean you're engaged?" Her voice cracked on the last word. Kang Min-jae didn't even look at her. He buttoned his shirt with mechanical precision, his jaw carved from stone. "Exactly what I said. The wedding is in 3 weeks." Her heart shattered. Last night, he'd whispered her name like a prayer. He'd been gentle, patient, taking her virginity with a tenderness that made her believe, God, she'd been so stupid. But you said... She couldn't finish, couldn't breathe. "I said nothing." His voice was ice. "You assumed." 30 seconds of silence. Jiwoo watched the man who'd touched her like she was precious now stare out the penthouse window like she didn't exist. Then he turned, and his eyes were empty. "You were a distraction. A warm body. Did you really think the head of the Baekho syndicate would choose a janitor?" Everything went silent. A janitor. He grabbed his suit jacket, and she saw the hickey she'd left on his collarbone. The same collarbone she'd kissed while he moved inside her, whispering that she was perfect, that she was his. "Min-jae, please." "The money's on the dresser. Consider it severance pay." The door slammed. Jiwoo looked at the stack of bills, 2,000,000 won, and vomited into the wastebasket. 3 months earlier, the Baekho Tower gleamed against Seoul's night sky, 90 stories of glass and steel that housed Korea's most powerful criminal empire. Jiwoo pushed her cleaning cart through the executive floor at 2 a.m., earbuds in, trying to ignore the opulence that reminded her she'd never belong here. "You missed a spot." She jumped, yanking out her earbuds. A man sat in the shadows of the corner office, the one office she'd been told never to enter after midnight. Kang Min-jae. Everyone knew his name. 32 years old, Harvard-educated, and absolutely ruthless. He'd taken over the Baekho syndicate at 25 when his father was murdered, and in 7 years, he'd doubled their territory. The newspapers called him the Ice King. The streets called him Death. "I'm sorry, I'll just..." Jiwoo grabbed her cart. "Stay." It wasn't a request. He stood. And God, he was beautiful in a way that hurt to look at. 6'2", broad shoulders tapering to a lean waist, with a face that belonged on magazine covers, not wanted posters. His hair was black silk, his eyes darker, and when he looked at her, she felt like prey. "What's your name?" "Jiwoo." "Park Jiwoo." "How long have you worked here, Jiwoo?" 6 months. Her voice was barely a whisper. He moved closer, and she smelled his cologne, sandalwood and something dangerous. "You're afraid of me." "Everyone's afraid of you." His laugh was unexpected, genuine. "Smart girl? But you're still here." "You told me to stay." "And if I told you to leave?" Jiwoo met his eyes, a mistake. They were endless, swirling with something she couldn't name. "Then I'd leave." "But you don't want to." Her breath hitched. "No." Min-jae reached out slowly, giving her time to bolt. His fingers brushed her cheek, feather-light, and she gasped. Interesting. Then he stepped back, the moment shattering. "Finish your work. And Jiwoo?" He smiled, and it was terrible and beautiful. "Come back tomorrow night." She did. Present day, the morning after he what? Sua's scream echoed through their tiny apartment in Gangnam's cheapest neighborhood. Jiwoo sat on the bathroom floor, still wearing Min-jae's shirt that she'd stolen weeks ago. It smelled like him. She wanted to burn it. She wanted to never take it off. He's engaged. Was engaged the whole time. Her voice was hollow. Sua, her best friend since middle school, slid down next to her. "That fucking bastard. I'll kill him. I'll actually kill him." "Get in line." Jiwoo laughed, but it came out as a sob. God, I'm so stupid. 3 months of sneaking around, and I thought, he made me think, what did he make you think? That I mattered. The tears came then, hot and unstoppable. He was so gentle, Sua. Last night, he kept asking if I was okay. He kissed every inch of me. He looked at me like I was everything. Suah pulled her close. You do matter. He's the one who's fucked up. He called me a distraction, a warm body. He's a liar. He gave me money, like I was... Jiwoo couldn't say it. Where's the money now? I left it, all of it. Good girl. Suah kissed her forehead. Now, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna shower, put on your best outfit, and quit that fucking job. I need the money. I don't care. You're not cleaning his floors after he broke your heart. We'll figure it out. But Jiwoo didn't quit. She couldn't afford to. 2 weeks later, Baekho Tower, 2 a.m., she'd perfected the art of cleaning the executive floor in 90 minutes instead of the usual 3 hours, in and out before Min-jae arrived. Except tonight, his office light was already on. Jiwoo's stomach dropped. She turned to leave. Running away? She froze, turned slowly. Min-jae leaned against his doorframe, tie loosened, looking like he hadn't slept in days. Good. She hoped he suffered. I'm working, she said coldly. You've been avoiding me. I've been doing my job. Jiwoo, don't. She held up her hand. You don't get to say my name. Not anymore. Something flickered across his face. Pain, maybe, or anger. We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about. I'm not engaged. The world tilted. What? The engagement. I ended it. He moved closer, and she backed up until she hit the wall. That morning after you left, I called it off. You're lying. I've never lied to you. Jiwoo laughed bitterly. You lied about everything. You made me think that you mattered. You did. You do. His hand slammed against the wall beside her head. Fuck, Jiwoo, you're all I think about. Then why did you say those things? His jaw clenched. Because I was trying to protect you. From what? From me, from this life, from... He stopped, shaking his head. It doesn't matter. You should hate me. It's safer. I do hate you. But her voice broke, betraying her. Min-jae's thumb brushed away a tear she didn't know had fallen. Liar. Then he kissed her. God help her, she kissed him back. His mouth was desperate, consuming, and she melted into him like the past 2 weeks hadn't happened. His hands cupped her face like she was fragile, precious, and she hated how right it felt. I'm sorry, he whispered against her lips. I'm so fucking sorry. Jiwoo shoved him hard. Sorry doesn't fix this. You gutted me. I know. You made me feel worthless. I know. Then why? A sob choked her. Why did you do it? Min-jae's composure finally cracked. His eyes glistened and his voice was raw. Because I was scared. Because everyone I love ends up dead, and I can't lose you. So you pushed me away first. Yes. Jiwoo wanted to scream, to hit him, to make him hurt the way she hurt. Instead, she walked away. Where are you going? Anywhere but here. She heard something crash behind her, his fist through the wall, probably. But she didn't look back. The next day, Sukmyung Women's University. Suah found her in the library, surrounded by textbooks. Jiwoo had enrolled in night classes 2 years ago, determined to finish her business degree despite working full-time. Today, the words blurred together. You look like death, Suah announced, dropping into the chair beside her. Thanks. Did you eat? Not hungry. Jiwoo. He said he called off the engagement. The words tumbled out. He said he was protecting me. He kissed me and I kissed him back and I hate myself for it. Suah sighed. Do you love him? It doesn't matter. That's not what I asked. Jiwoo closed her textbook. Yes, God help me, yes. I fell in love with him, and I knew better. I knew he was dangerous and cruel and human, Suah finished. Look, I hate what he did to you, but 3 months of late-night conversations? The way you described how he looked at you? People don't fake that. He said I was a distraction. He also said he was scared, and I've never heard of Kang Min-jae being scared of anything. Before Jiwoo could respond, Suah's phone buzzed. Her face lit up in a way Jiwoo hadn't seen before. Who's that? No one. But Suah was blushing. Liar. Tell me. Fine, there's this guy who comes into the coffee shop, Tae-hyun. He's really sweet. Sweet how? He tips 50% and asks about my day, and yesterday he brought me flowers because I mentioned I liked peonies. Sua's smile was soft. He asked me out. For the first time in 2 weeks, Ji-woo smiled genuinely. And you said? Yes, tomorrow night. Will you help me pick an outfit? Obviously. As Sua chattered about Tae-hyun, a finance analyst who apparently had dimples and read poetry, Ji-woo felt a flicker of hope. Maybe love didn't have to destroy you. Maybe, for some people, it could be simple and sweet. She just wasn't one of those people. That night, Baekho Tower. The roses were waiting on her cart. 3 dozen blood-red roses with a note in Min-jae's precise handwriting. Forgive me. Ji-woo threw them in the trash. The next night, there were chocolates from Paris. Trash. The third night, a diamond bracelet that cost more than her year's salary. She returned it to his desk with her own note. Stop. The fourth night, nothing. No gifts. No Min-jae. She told herself she was relieved. She was cleaning the conference room when she heard shouting. Min-jae's office door was cracked open, and against her better judgment, she crept closer. Don't care what your father promised. Min-jae's voice was lethal. The engagement is off. Hyun-ju won't accept that. An older man's voice, gravelly and cold. You humiliated her family. She'll survive. This isn't about survival, boy. This is about alliances. The Lee family controls Busan's ports. We need them. Then find another way. There is no other way. You marry the girl or what? Min-jae's laugh was devoid of humor. You'll kill me? Take over the syndicate? Please try. Silence. Then, this is about that janitor, isn't it? Ji-woo's blood turned to ice. Leave her out of this. So it is true. Kang Min-jae brought low by a cleaning girl. Your father would be ashamed. The sound of a body hitting the wall made Ji-woo jump. Say that again. Min-jae's voice was death itself. Insult her one more time, and I'll paint these walls with your blood. You'd start a war over her? In a heartbeat. Footsteps approached the door. Ji-woo ran. 1 week later, Club Octagon, Gangnam Soo-ah dragged her out, insisting she needed to rejoin the living. The club was packed, bass thundering through Ji-woo's chest as bodies pressed together on the dance floor. Tae-hyun's bringing a friend, Soo-ah shouted over the music. Maybe you'll hit it off. Ji-woo doubted it. Her heart was still in pieces, scattered across Min-jae's penthouse floor. Tae-hyun arrived with his friend, Jung-woo, a kindergarten teacher with kind eyes and an easy smile. He was nice, normal, everything Min-jae wasn't. So Ji-woo, what do you do? Jung-woo asked. Before she could answer, the club's energy shifted. People moved aside, creating a path, and Ji-woo's stomach plummeted. Min-jae walked in like he owned the place, which he probably did. His eyes scanned the crowd, predatory, and then they landed on her, on Jung-woo's hand on her waist. Oh no. Min-jae crossed the distance in seconds. Remove your hand. Jung-woo blinked. Excuse me? Your hand on her. Remove it before I break every bone in your body. Min-jae, stop. Ji-woo tried to step between them. Who the fuck are you? Jung-woo's bravado was admirable, but stupid. Min-jae's smile was terrifying. I'm the man who'll bury you in the Han River. Now move. Ji-woo, do you know this guy? She couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. The entire club was watching. Min-jae's patience snapped. He grabbed Ji-woo's arm, gentle despite his fury, and pulled her toward the exit. Let go! She yanked free in the alley behind the club. What the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? You're letting random men touch you. I can let whoever I want touch me. We're not together. The fuck we're not. You ended this, and I'm unending it. Min-jae's hands fisted in his hair. I can't, Ji-woo, I can't watch you with someone else. I tried to let you go, and I can't. You don't get to do this. You don't get to break me and then, I love you. Everything stopped. What? Min-jae stepped closer, his eyes blazing. I love you. I've loved you since you told me to go fuck myself for asking you to bring me coffee because I'm a janitor, not your secretary. I've loved you since you cried watching a sad commercial on the break room TV. I've loved you since the first night you stayed and we talked until sunrise about nothing and everything. Tears streamed down her face. You said I was a distraction. I lied. You're not a distraction. You're everything. You're the only good thing in my miserable, blood-soaked life. And I'm terrified. I'm terrified that being with me will get you killed. That you'll end up like my mother, like everyone else I've ever... Ji-woo kissed him. She kissed him hard, tasting salt from both their tears, and he made a broken sound against her mouth. His arms wrapped around her, crushing her to his chest, and she felt his heart hammering as fast as hers. I love you too, she whispered. Damn you, I love you too. I'm sorry, God, Ji-woo, I'm so fucking sorry. You hurt me. I know. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I swear. They stood there, holding each other in a dirty alley that smelled like garbage and cigarettes, and it was perfect, until the gunshot rang out. Min-jae moved before Ji-woo registered the sound. He spun her, covering her body with his, and she felt the impact of the bullet hitting him. No, 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 no. Her hands came away red. Min-jae! He collapsed, and she went down with him. Blood poured from his shoulder, spreading across his white shirt like a crimson flower. Stay with me. Please stay with me. She pressed her hands to the wound, but there was so much blood. Too much. Ji-woo. His voice was weak. Run. I'm not leaving you. They'll kill you. Please. More gunshots. The alley erupted into chaos. Men in black suits appeared. Min-jae's men, she realized, returning fire. Someone scooped her up, carrying her and Min-jae toward a waiting car. I've got the boss. Go, go, go. The world blurred. Ji-woo held Min-jae's hand as the car screeched through Seoul's streets. His blood soaked her dress. His eyes kept closing. Don't you dare die on me, Kang Min-jae. Don't you dare. His lips moved. She leaned closer. Love you, he breathed. Then his eyes closed. Min-jae! Seoul National University Hospital, 4 a.m. Ji-woo sat in the private waiting room, still covered in blood. Soo-ah had arrived an hour ago, bringing clothes and holding her while she shook. He'll be okay, Soo-ah whispered. He's too stubborn to die. You didn't see him. There was so much blood. The surgeon appeared, and Ji-woo lunged forward. He's alive. The bullet missed the major arteries. He's incredibly lucky. She burst into tears. Relief, exhaustion, terror all pouring out. He's asking for you, the surgeon added. Room 907, but only for a few minutes. He needs rest. Ji-woo ran. Min-jae lay in the hospital bed, connected to machines, looking more vulnerable than she'd ever seen him. His eyes opened when she entered. Hey, he rasped. You idiot! She collapsed into the chair beside him, taking his hand. You absolute idiot! Still, love me? Unfortunately. She kissed his knuckles. What happened? Who shot you? His jaw tightened. Lee family, my former fiancé's father. He wants me dead. Because you ended the engagement? Because I chose you over their alliance. Min-jae squeezed her hand. Ji-woo, things are going to get worse before they get better. The Lee family won't stop, and there are others in the syndicate who think I'm weak for loving me. Yes. Then let me go. The words killed her. If I'm putting you in danger, no. His grip tightened despite his weakness. I've lived without you. I'd rather die. Min-jae, I mean it. You're not a weakness. You're my reason to survive this war, to build something better. He pulled her closer, wincing. Marry me. Ji-woo's heart stopped. What? Marry me. Not for alliances or business. Marry me because I love you, and I want every morning to start with your face and every night to end in your arms. Marry me because you're the only person who sees me, really sees me, and doesn't run." His voice cracked. "Please, Ji-woo, marry me." She was crying again. "You're insane. That's not a no. It's not a yes either. Ask me again when you're not high on painkillers." "I'll ask you every day for the rest of my life if I have to." She kissed him softly, carefully, mindful of his injuries. "Then ask me tomorrow." "Tomorrow?" He smiled and it transformed his whole face. "I can work with tomorrow." 2 days later, Sua's coffee shop, the one where she'd met Tae-hyun, became their refuge. Ji-woo visited Min-jae every day in the hospital, but the media frenzy was intense. Mafia boss shot in gang war screamed the headlines. "How is he?" Tae-hyun asked, sliding into the booth across from her. Ji-woo had learned that Tae-hyun wasn't just a finance analyst. He was Min-jae's financial advisor, the one who kept the legitimate businesses running while Min-jae handled the darker side. He was also, apparently, completely smitten with Soo-ah. "He's improving, being released tomorrow." "And the Lee family?" "Min-jae won't talk about it, says he's handling it." Tae-hyun exchanged a look with Soo-ah, who was making coffee behind the counter. "There's a meeting tonight. The 5 families. Min-jae's going to officially declare you under his protection." "What does that mean?" "It means anyone who touches you starts a blood war." He leaned forward. "Ji-woo, I need you to understand something. Min-jae's never brought a woman into this world, ever. His mother was killed when he was 15, targeted because of his father. He swore he'd never let it happen again." "Then why?" "Because he loves you more than he fears losing you, and that terrifies him." Ji-woo's chest ached. "I don't want him to start a war over me." "Too late. The war started the moment he chose you." Tae-hyun's expression softened. "But if anyone can survive it, it's Min-jae. He spent 7 years building power specifically so he'd never be helpless again." Soo-ah brought over coffee and slid next to Tae-hyun, their hands linking automatically. Ji-woo smiled despite everything. "You two are disgustingly cute." Soo-ah grinned. "Tae-hyun asked me to move in with him." "What? When?" "Last night, and I said yes." She laughed at Ji-woo's shocked expression. "I know it's fast, but when you know, right?" "Right," Ji-woo agreed softly. "When you know, you know." That night, the meeting, Ji-woo wasn't supposed to be there. Min-jae had left strict instructions for her to stay at his penthouse with armed guards, but she'd never been good at following orders. She arrived at the warehouse in Incheon as the meeting concluded. Men poured out, leaders of Seoul's criminal underworld, all looking grim. When Min-jae emerged, his arm still in a sling, his eyes widened. "What are you doing here?" "What did you do?" He sighed. "Let's talk in the car." Inside the bulletproof Mercedes, Min-jae finally spoke. "The Lee family's been dealt with. Mr. Lee will be spending the next 20 years in prison for trafficking charges that mysteriously appeared in the prosecutor's office. His daughter, Hyun-ju, has been sent to their family in Los Angeles, and I've negotiated a new alliance with the Choi family for the Busan ports." "Just like that?" "Just like that." He turned to her. "I also announced my retirement." Ji-woo's jaw dropped. "You what?" "Effective in 6 months. Tae-hyun will take over the legitimate businesses. My second-in-command, Jin-ho, will handle the rest. I'm done, Ji-woo. I'm done with the violence and the blood and the constant looking over my shoulder." "Min-jae, you can't just quit." "Watch me." He cupped her face. "I've been trapped in this life since I was 15 years old. My father built an empire on bones, and I've spent half my life maintaining it. But I'm 32, and I'm tired. I want a different life. With you." "What if they don't let you go?" "They don't have a choice. I've ensured everyone's loyalty, neutralized every threat, and built enough legitimate wealth that we'll never want for anything." His thumb brushed her cheekbone. I'm choosing you, Jiwoo. I'm choosing us, now and forever. She kissed him, tasting promise and hope. Ask me again, she whispered. What? Ask me again. Understanding dawned in his eyes. He shifted, awkward with his injured shoulder, and pulled a box from his jacket. The ring inside was stunning, a simple diamond that caught the light like captured starlight. Park Ji-woo, you walked into my life pushing a cleaning cart and told me I was arrogant. You made me laugh for the first time in years. You saw the monster I am and loved me anyway. You're my redemption, my salvation, my everything. His voice thick with emotion. Will you marry me? Not because of what I was, but because of who I want to become. With you. Yes. The word burst out, joyful and sure. Yes, yes, 1,000 times, yes. He slid the ring on her finger and it fit perfectly. Then he pulled her into his lap, carefully, mindful of his shoulder, and kissed her until the driver cleared his throat and reminded them they had an audience. 3 weeks later, Seoul National University graduation. Ji-woo walked across the stage in her cap and gown, accepting her business degree 4 years after she'd started. The applause was thunderous, but she only heard one person, Min-jae, standing and cheering like she'd won the lottery. After the ceremony, he swept her into his arms. I'm so fucking proud of you. Language, she teased, we're on a college campus. I don't care. My fiancé just graduated summa cum laude. Your fiancé is a nerd. My fiancé is brilliant. He kissed her forehead. And speaking of which, I have a graduation present. He handed her an envelope. Inside was a business registration. Park Ji-woo, CEO of Haven Consulting. What is this? Your company. I've provided the capital, but it's yours. Business consulting for small companies that need help but can't afford the big firms. You're always talking about wanting to help people. Now you can. Ji-woo's eyes filled with tears. Min-jae, it's not charity, it's an investment. You're going to change lives, Ji-woo. I know it. She kissed him there, in front of her entire graduating class, and didn't care who saw. 1 month later, wedding day. The wedding was small, immediate family and close friends only. They held it at a private garden in Namsan, cherry blossoms falling like snow. Soo-ah was her maid of honor, beautiful in dusty rose silk. Taehyun stood beside Min-jae as his best man. Ji-woo wore a simple white dress that made her feel like a princess. Her mother cried through the entire ceremony. Her father, who'd been skeptical of Min-jae, had slowly warmed after seeing how he looked at his daughter, like she hung the moon. I, Kang Min-jae, take you, Park Ji-woo, to be my wife. Min-jae's voice was steady, but his eyes shone with unshed tears. I promise to love you through every storm, to choose you every single day, to build a life with you that's filled with laughter and hope instead of darkness. You saved me, and I will spend the rest of my life being worthy of that gift. Ji-woo couldn't speak through her tears. Finally, she managed, I, Park Ji-woo, take you, Kang Min-jae, to be my husband. I promise to stand beside you no matter what comes, to love you on the hard days and the easy ones, to see you, really see you, and choose you anyway, always. When the officiant pronounced them married, Min-jae kissed her like it was the first time and the last time and every time in between. The reception was held at Min-jae's penthouse, the same penthouse where Ji-woo's heart had been broken and healed, but it looked different now, filled with flowers and fairy lights and laughter. During dinner, Taehyun stood with his champagne glass. I've known Min-jae for 10 years, and for 9 of those years, he was the coldest, most closed-off person I'd ever met. Then Ji-woo walked into his life with a mop and bucket, and suddenly he was smiling, laughing, human. He raised his glass. To Ji-woo for performing the impossible, and to Min-jae for finally letting someone in. To Ji-woo and Min-jae, the room echoed. Soo-ah stood next, tears streaming down her face. Ji-woo is my best friend, my sister, my person, and watching her fall in love has been the greatest privilege of my life, even when it was messy and painful and terrifying. She looked at Min-jae. You hurt her, but you also loved her enough to change your entire life. So I guess you're okay. Everyone laughed. To new beginnings. To new beginnings. As the night wore on, Ji-woo found herself on the balcony, looking out at Seoul's glittering skyline. Min-jae joined her, wrapping his arms around her waist from behind. Happy? He murmured against her ear, deliriously. No regrets? She turned in his arms. About marrying an ex-Mafia boss who once called me a warm body? Not even one. He winced. Are you ever going to let me live that down? Absolutely not. Fair. He kissed her softly. I love you, Mrs. Kang. I love you too, Mr. Kang. Inside, Soo-ah and Tae-hyun were dancing, her head on his shoulder, his arms holding her close. Tae-hyun whispered something that made her laugh, and Ji-woo smiled. Did you know Tae-hyun's planning to propose? Min-jae asked. What? When? Next week. He asked for my blessing yesterday. And you said that he'd better treat her like a queen or I'd break his kneecaps. Then I said yes. Ji-woo laughed, full and genuine. A year ago, she'd been a janitor with impossible dreams. Now she was married to the love of her life. Her best friend was getting engaged, and she had a business that would let her help people. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For being scared enough to love me anyway. Min-jae's arms tightened. Best decision I ever made. 6 months later, epilogue. Haven Consulting's office was small but growing. Ji-woo had helped 12 small businesses in her first 6 months, and word was spreading. Min-jae had fully retired, spending his days managing investments and his nights cooking dinner with his wife. Yes, cooking. Kang Min-jae, former head of the Baek Ho Syndicate, had discovered a passion for Italian cuisine. You're going to burn the garlic, Ji-woo called from the living room, where she was reviewing a client proposal. I've got it. She heard cursing, smiled, didn't get up. Her phone buzzed with a text from Soo-ah. Emergency. Come to the coffee shop. Now. Ji-woo's heart raced. She grabbed her keys and drove across town, terrified. When she burst into the shop, she found Soo-ah crying. Oh my God, what's wrong? I'm pregnant, Soo-ah wailed. Ji-woo froze, then laughed. That's the emergency? We're not even married yet. The wedding's in 2 months. I'm going to be showing in all the pictures. Tae-hyun appeared from the back room, grinning like an idiot. Isn't it amazing? Amazing. Tae-hyun, I'm freaking out. Ji-woo pulled her friend into a hug. It's going to be okay. You're going to be an incredible mom. I don't know how to be a mom. Nobody does until they are one. Ji-woo pulled back, smiling through her own tears. And your baby is going to be so loved. Soo-ah sniffled. Will you be the godmother? Obviously. That night, Ji-woo told Min-jae about Soo-ah's pregnancy over burnt pasta. He'd salvaged it with extra sauce and cheese, and they ate on the balcony under the stars. Do you want kids? She asked suddenly. Min-jae considered. I used to think I couldn't, that I'd be a terrible father because of who I was. He took her hand. But you make me want things I never thought I could have. A normal life, a family. So yes, someday, when we're ready. Someday, Ji-woo agreed. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the city below. A year ago, they'd been on this same balcony, breaking apart. Now they were whole. Ji-woo? Thank you for not giving up on me. She squeezed his hand. Thank you for being worth it. Soo-ah and Tae-hyun's wedding 2 months later. Soo-ah glowed in her wedding dress, her tiny baby bump barely visible. Tae-hyun cried through the entire ceremony, and when Soo-ah said, I do, he picked her up and spun her around until the officiant cleared his throat. At the reception, held at the same garden where Ji-woo and Min-jae had married, the 4 of them sat together at the head table. Look at us, Soo-ah said, raising her water glass. No champagne for her. A year and a half ago, we were a struggling janitor and a broke barista. Now look at us. Now you're a married janitor and a pregnant barista. Tae-hyun teased. She swatted him. I'm a business consultant, thank you very much. Ji-woo hired me last month. And you're terrible at filing, Ji-woo added, but excellent with clients. They all laughed. Min-jae put his arm around Ji-woo, and she leaned into him, feeling complete. To us, Min-jae said, raising his glass, to surviving the impossible and finding love in the darkness. To found family, Tae-hyun added. To new beginnings, Sua echoed. To always, Ji-woo finished. Their glasses clinked, and the sound echoed into the night. A promise, a celebration, a declaration that despite everything, love had won. As the party continued around them, Ji-woo looked at the three people who'd become her family. Min-jae, who'd torn down his empire to build a life with her. Sua, who'd stood beside her through every heartbreak. Tae-hyun, who'd loved her best friend with the devotion she deserved. A year ago, she'd been broken, bleeding on Min-jae's penthouse floor. Now she was whole. Every night had broken her. But every morning, love had put her back together. And that was the only story that mattered.